Your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, Air Namibia liquidation in the interest of the nation, says Shimi. Namibia Cabin Crew Union accuses Minister of Public Enterprises of sketchy email. EU, FXB and HISA Namibia launch GBV empowerment project. And Namibia Nation urged to support young warriors during AFCON Games.
The Minister of Finance, Shimi, at a recent press briefing called to discuss government's position on the plan to liquidate Air Namibia, stated that the decision to file for voluntary liquidation of the national carrier is in the interest of the country, as the national airline's soaring debt will jeopardize the country's economic recovery plan. Air Namibia has been underperforming for many years and has become a huge financial burden for the government and taxpayers. After numerous attempts to save the national airline, the Minister of Finance announced that the government has finally approved a plan to liquidate the national airlines.
The decision that the Cabinet has taken is to file for voluntary liquidation of Air Namibia. And obviously this is it was not a very easy decision. It's a decision that was taken after a careful consideration of many options, looking at the economic situation, looking at the current situation with regard to the airline industry, looking at Air Namibia's debt, also considering options of partnering with other airlines, which also proved to be difficult. After all this consideration, Cabinet eventually decided that it's in the best interest of the country to file for voluntary liquidation. Air Namibia has not been profitable since inception. And therefore, the net economic cost of Air Namibia, or Namibia's operations, far outstrip the net gains, and therefore, because of that, is not sustainable. It is estimated that so far, government has spent more than 8 billion Namibian dollar in supporting Air Namibia. And given the country's economic, the stage of the economy currently, we believe the country can no longer afford to perpetually provide financial support to Air Namibia at the expense of other important priorities. As you know, that government has got important priorities in supporting the agricultural sector to create employment, in supporting education, in supporting housing. These are all competing needs that government or that is confronting government, and therefore it was felt that given all these competing priorities, continuing to bail out Air Namibia has become unaffordable.
Leon Jooster, the Minister of Public Enterprises, also clarified allegations that the recent court decision where Air Namibia was ordered to pay Belgian airline company Challenge Airlines over 170 million Namibia dollars played no role in the decision taken by the government to liquidate the national airline.
The Challenge Air issue came out of the blue, and it has been playing absolutely no role in the reasons why the decision is being taken. Having said that, it obviously did pose some new challenges, in particular as far as timing, etc. is concerned, but that was not part of our consideration.
The head of state, President Hage Geingob, during last year's State of the Nation address, hinted that the national carrier would face possible liquidation.
I'm an original.
There's nobody
Like me, I'm Robin, and my confidence is perfect fitting lingerie.
I am Marche, and my confidence is being exactly who I am.
I'm Theodora, and my confidence is knowing my worth.
It's time to love your underwear, to love yourself.
The Namibia Cabin Crew Union says that privately owned airlines are preparing to take advantage of the liquidation of the national airline Air Namibia. According to the union, the Minister of Public Enterprises, Leon Jooste, was copied in an email from a private airline to inquire about equipment from the liquidated airline.
As from yesterday, last night, this morning, we started getting information from certain individuals, whether it's inside the company, outside the company, we started getting information. There were clear talks in an email between a company, West Air, about the equipment of Air Namibia that they want to spy. That was already in the process of last year. So there's a clear indication from a white-owned company that they want to push out the national airline so that they can take over the environment. And in that email, the Public Enterprise Minister, Leon Jooste, is copied into that email. They are flying in local, but they've been flying regional. But their operations, in principle, has grown that they can go into Africa. So what they are looking for is equipment, and equipment on its cheapest form. And the cheapest form is to liquidate the company so that things can just be sold off and we can capture the environment.
At a recent press conference, Jooste did confirm receiving an email of such a nature and shed light on the matter. He also responded to claims that he has shares in a private airline.
So the email that was referred to, and I actually checked a copy of that, that was at the time when the owners of the Embraers were not getting any response from Air Namibia. So we were approached and saying that, look, unless we intervene, Air Namibia may in fact be losing those aircraft because somebody else would purchase them. So that is where we were copied in the email, and we then called in Namibia, and like I said, this was taken to Cabinet and the Cabinet Committee, and we quickly secured those aircraft to make sure that nobody else get hold of them at the time. So I can 100% confirm that I have no shares directly or indirectly or any vested interest in the company called West Air, Fly West Air, or any of its subsidiaries, or any person working for the company, or any related party to the company called West Air. So there is absolutely no truth in that. I have also never had that in the past, and I don't intend to have such a relationship in future either.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Mpumbu Shimi, also responded to rumors that are being spread on social media platforms that the government liquidated Air Namibia to advance other private airlines.
I also want to clarify one other issue that is making some rounds in the public with the potential to tarnish the image of government, and this is the issue of accusing government of wanting to close Air Namibia deliberately for the growth of another airline, because these are things that we are picking up in the media. This information is totally misleading and is devoid of any truth. We all know the history of Air Namibia and government, and we also know that government can no longer carry this burden given Air Namibia's soaring debts.
In conclusion, Jooste added that there are no immediate plans from the government to start a new airline to take over from Air Namibia.
We can't wait to get together again, to welcome new friends, meet up with old ones, and play until the sun comes up. We can't wait to fill our stadiums again. In fact, we can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then, let's stay safe.
The European Union delegation to Namibia, together with FXB International and HISA Namibia, kicked off a project titled Curbing Gender-Based Violence, Empowering Women and Children Living in Informal Settlements of Namibia by equipping communities, men and boys, to be human rights defenders and agents of change. A baseline survey presented by HISA Namibia representative carried out from September through October of last year, with 392 people in the informal settlements of Khomas, Ochodonjupa and Hardap regions, show that 1 in 3 people have experienced gender-based violence within their homes, mostly women and children, and that 1 in 3 women in these informal settlements who have experienced gender-based violence admitted to not reporting their cases as they are dependent on their perpetrator.
We also went forward and asked, do you know what services are available to women in informal settlements that are experiencing GBV? And again, 1 in 3 said they did not know of any services that were available. They did, of course, understand what gender-based violence was about, but they did need information in terms of accessing to say there is places where you can go, there is persons that you can see within the informal settlement to assist you. Both women and men singled out, as many of us have always said, singled out and said one in every 2 instances of violence has a man as a perpetrator. However, when we asked men who are the perpetrators of violence, 1 in 6 men said it is the women who start the fighting, and then we have to retaliate. So we ourselves are quiet, but when the women come and rile us up, then we are forced to fight back.
The Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare's Chief Community Officer for the Khomas region stressed the mobilization and involvement of men and boys in curbing GBV in their respective communities, adding that the government has policies and acts in place guiding the implementation of GBV programs.
Some suffer gender-based violence in silence. Therefore, they need to be empowered to be part of the solution and become agents of change. Director of Ceremony, the government of Namibia has in place several policies and acts that guides us in the implementation of programs that are aimed at gender-based violence prevention and response, such as the Child Care and Protection Act, Combating of the Domestic Violence Act, which is currently under review, the National Gender Policy, which is also to be reviewed, National Gender Plan of Action, the Combating of Rape Act, currently, as we speak, under review, Prioritized National Plan of Action on Gender-Based Violence 2019 to 2023, just to mention a few.
Launching the project, the European Union ambassador to Namibia stressed the importance of addressing GBV with political will, resources and accountability mechanisms.
Sharp shoppers spend $500 in store and stand a chance to win one of 24 Ryobi angle grinders. On sale, aluminium multi-purpose folding ladder, only $1,040. Ryobi electric lawnmower, just $3,900. Plascon Trade Pro Bright Matte White, 20 liters, $560. Aluminium entrance door in bronze frame, only $4,250. Shop now and enter to win in store. Let's build and win Shop together. Valid till 4 April. T's and C's apply.
Despite being one of the debutants at the tournament showpiece, the Young Warriors are strongly backed up by the nation to be the surprise package in Mauritania. Today on One Sports Desk, caught up with sports consultant Matthew Haikali and former Brave Warriors assistant coach Woody Jacobs to discuss their thoughts on how the Young Warriors will vie in Mauritania. Former Brave Warriors assistant coach Woody Jacobs encouraged the young Warriors to perform well despite them being debutants, stating that the underdog tag will be an advantage at the tournament.
We go in as minnows, we go in as the underdogs, since we are making our debut at the African Youth Championship, or AFCON as we call it, for under-20s. And I think that would be a good thing. That would be a good thing, seeing the fact that the others will look at us and see, and also judging from our recent performance with the seniors, they say, we'll just walk over Namibia because Namibia is not really, and they also know the fact that Namibia hasn't been playing football for quite some time. What also hampers our progress or our preparation is the fact that we didn't have enough preparatory games against formidable opposition, going outside the country, putting up camp and all these things. Those things can be a detriment, and it can also be a positive because you have everything to give. And being an underdog, you have everything to give, and you might surprise the more fancied nations. You have Tunisia in our group, we have Burkina Faso in our group, and we have the Central African Republic. Countries that are normally renowned for the junior competitions, going on to the World Cup stage and even doing well on those stages. But I know the character of Namibians. I know the character where, especially when we don't give them a chance, they rise to the occasion. And I think our young warriors will rise to the occasion.
After their brilliant COSAFA performance in Port Elizabeth, sport consultant Matthew Haikali stated that the young Warriors have a high chance of competing against the African giants, but has also admitted that the group will be tough.
Having qualified, it means it's not a fluke that they are going there. So I think they've been working very well to prepare for the tournament. And when you get that opportunity, I think it's about giving you 150%. And from what we've seen, their performances obviously was a struggle at COSAFA in the beginning, but I don't think they're going to participate there. They're going to compete. And everybody is afraid of them, obviously. So chances of them going to the next round, I think they should, because it's the first time, obviously, if you win, that becomes a bonus. But going to the next round should be the target for the coach and the players. It's a challenge for us. Remember, we did have football. And also, I think the resources were constricted in terms of the team's performance. Coronavirus has not even helped because it doesn't give you an opportunity for you to be able to play friendlies. They didn't get that much time, but from what I've heard, especially with the coach traveling around the country to select, second would be an added bonus. But because of the quality of the other countries, we should support them all the way. However they perform, let's not do what we did to the Brave Warriors at Chan. Let's give the boys that motivations. I mean, we are not providing them with the necessary environment for them to perform to their best. So let's support them all the way, and we wish them all the best.
The young Warriors are currently in Mauritania and will begin their campaign against Central African Republic on the 15th of February, Tunisia on the 18th of February, and will face Burkina Faso in their final match on the 21st of February. The final 29-man squad is as follows.
To welcome new friends, meet up with old ones, and play until the sun comes up. We can't wait to fill our stadiums again. In fact, we can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then,
let's stay safe.
In other leading stories, for the period of 2008 to 2020, Namibia's aggregated average ranking stood at 91.7 on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. The country reached an all-time low when it ranked 108th on the index in 2016, with its best performance at position 54 in 2008. The latest 2020 rating places Namibia in position 104 out of 190 economies. Influencing Namibia's placing are several indicators, notably starting a business, the procedures, time, cost, and paid-in minimum capital to start a limited liability company, dealing with construction permits, the procedures, time, and cost to complete all formalities to build a warehouse, and the quality control and safety mechanisms in the construction permitting system, access to electricity, the procedures, time and cost to get connected to the electrical grid, and the reliability of the electricity supply and the transparency of tariffs, as well as, amongst others, the registering of property, the procedures, time and cost to transfer a property, and the quality of the land administration system. In a media statement, BIPA expressed that it should be noted that the time it takes to register a business with BIPA improved from 33 days in 2019 to 21 days in 2020. The improvement can be attributed to the authority improving its turnaround time on name reservation approvals from 18 days in 2019 to 6 days in 2020. BIPA achieved the reduction in the number of days it took to approve a name reservation by 12 days in 2020 through allocating more human resources and have staff working overtime. The authority foresees a further improvement in the starting a business indicator on the Ease of Doing Business Index, as BIPA's latest statistics show that the authority now processes name reservations within 3 days.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. We look at comments from our viewers on the recent announcement by government regarding the closure of the national airliner Air Namibia. Lord said the fact that the airline has not made a profit in 3 decades is hard to comprehend. Pearl said the routes are yours, Fly West Air. Bradley said to say that the airliner never made a profit is misleading because it was a successful aviation company before government took over. Slim said the airline can be brought on its feet if it partners with other airlines and takes on more routes. Jonas said it should not be saved and that the market should be open. Samuele is not convinced that the local airline should be closed. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
Get uncapped internet from as little as $500 Namibian a month. Contact us now or find us on Facebook. Whitehall, your internet service provider.
To our Valentines Venue.
Yes, love is in the air.
Okay, so we are now at one of the private cabins. It's actually, there's a lot of space. I'm going to show you the little nitty-gritty things here.
So I enjoy Planet Michaels a lot. I'm a subscriber. You guys should subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make it happen. Planet Michaels!
Yeah, thank you so much.
That was the best, bro. That was the best.
Thank you for being with us today on a Valentine's Day. Thank you very much.
And now let's have a look at the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the Met Office. Heavy falls will persist in the northern regions, so please take the necessary precautions. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm to hot over the Khomas and Omaheke regions with a few thunder showers. Otherwise, cloudy and warm to hot with isolated thunder showers, but widespread in the northern regions. The coast will be partly cloudy and cool to warm with showers. Wind will be light to moderate northeasterly. Now a look at weather conditions across the country and beyond.
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. But it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
Reason do the House managers withhold it from the American people